Matt Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Thank you for joining us. Wow, there's an awful lot to talk about today. A lot to get into. There was an interesting press conference yesterday, White House press conference, as Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt talked with the reporters. The topic, there were several topics. One of them, tariffs, which are set to go into effect tomorrow.
Well, I think, first of all, unfortunately, these countries have been ripping off our country for far too long. And they've made, I think, their disdain for the American worker quite clear. If you look at the unfair trade practices that we have, 50% from the European Union on American dairy. You have a 700% tariff from Japan on American rice. You have a 100% tariff from India on American agricultural products. You have nearly a 300% tariff from Canada on American butter and American cheese. This makes it virtually impossible for American products to be imported into these markets. And it has put a lot of Americans out of business and out of work over the past several decades. So it's time for reciprocity. And it's time for a president to take historic change to do what's right for the American people. And that's going to take place on Wednesday.
I think they need to do that more often, because the perception seems to be, okay, we're doing this to you, so you can go ahead and reciprocate now. No, we're the ones who are reciprocating. We are the ones who have been assessed all of these tariffs over decades of time, and we haven't responded ever. So now we're responding, and they're saying they're going to respond to our response. Come on. Wow. Okay, so Canada triples the price of eggs and butter, dairy products that go into their country from the U.S. That's fair? They're pissed off that we're trying to do something about that? Okay. All right.
The weather must be nice up there in D.C. Is she outside? I mean, it's like, like sometimes in school, your teacher will take you outside and have like a little take class outside today. I kind of like these outdoor press conferences. It's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. She also spoke about the White House Press Club getting upset about the way the press briefing room seating changes.
That's fun.
On a regular basis.
As for switching up seating in the briefing room, it's something we are seriously considering. And we tried to broker a meeting with the White House Correspondents Association board today to discuss that matter. But unfortunately, their president sent out a fundamentally unserious email to the rest of their membership, making it clear that this is a group that doesn't care about press freedom, transparency, and access for all media voices, but just cares about having their monetized monopoly over the briefing room. And I would remind them that the briefing room is part of the people's house. It belongs to the American people. It does not belong to elitist journalists here in Washington, D.C.
Oh, since when? When did that happen?
Oh, that's why we're
January
outside.
20th. That's what. Yeah. That's amazing. That's great.
That's why we're outside. We want a full with seating in the press room. Okay.
And they're doing it. I guess they're rearranging the chairs.
That's funny.
She also addressed a reporter asking about the president's comment about a third term.
Method would the president use to potentially run for a third term? As he said, there are methods there.
Look,
pause it. Is she literally in the street? It looks like they're actually in the middle of the street.
They get the sticks, and if you see in the back, that's where all the reporters and the news stations are to do the Fox News hits, CNN hits.
That's like the back lot at the White House.
Yes.
Okay.
Back 40, Jeffy will call that.
All right. Let's see what she has to say about this.
Question about a third term, and then he answers honestly and candidly with a smile, and then everybody here melts down about his answer. The president was talked about this last night on the plane. He said, it's not really something we're thinking about. He has 4 years. There's a lot of work to do. We've done a lot in these nearly first 100 days, and the American people love what this president is doing, particularly when it comes to efforts to secure the border.
Okay. Later in the day, the president was asked about it as well.
Story, I know it's hypothetical right now, but if you were allowed for some reason to run for a third term, is there a thought that the Democrats could try to run Barack Obama against you?
I'd love that.
For his third term?
Boy, I'd love that. That would be a good one. I'd like that. No, people are asking me to run, and there's a whole story about running for a third term. I don't know. I never looked into it. They do say there's a way you can do it, but I don't know about that. But I have not looked into it. I want to do a fantastic job. We have 4 years, just about, almost close to 4 years. Time is flying, but it's still close to 4 years. And we're getting a lot of credit for having done a great job in the first almost 100 days. Mm-hmm. And we have some big things we're going to be announcing over the next 2 days that you know very well, Peter. And I think it's going to be something that's going to bring a lot of wealth back to our country, tremendous wealth back to our country, actually. And
okay. So there it is. He hasn't thought about it. He doesn't know the rules on it. But I don't know who's advising him on this. Whoever it is, they're doing him and the country a real disservice. His opponents already believe he wants to be a dictator. So now, if he's seriously entertaining a third term, what does that look like? I don't know what these other methods are that he's talking about, because you cannot become vice president and have the president resign and then ascend to the presidency if you've already done 2 terms. It can't happen. It's prohibited by the 12th Amendment. You know, you talk about the 22nd Amendment, whose last line precludes a third term. But it also precludes a vice president from ascending to the presidency if that person has already served as president twice. So I don't know what it is they're talking about, that they could make this happen. But there is an article in the Daily Mail that claims it is possible. In fact, they say it's easy. And they're talking about it hinging on the interpretation of one word, and that's election, in the 22nd Amendment, and the loyalty of one man, the vice president, or J.D. Vance. So the text of the full 22nd Amendment says the following, according to the Daily Mail: no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice, and no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of the president more than once. Okay, so they say the loophole there is the word elected. It's laid out in a 1999 Minnesota Law Review article co-authored by Professor Bruce Peabody entitled "The Twice and Future President."
Uh-oh.
It outlines the amendment has been subject to widespread misunderstanding and concludes that the idea any twice elected president is constitutionally prohibited from serving again is decidedly incorrect. Interesting. I mean, there's going to be a lot of disagreement on that issue, I'm sure, because, you know, George Washington set the standard. He kind of set the example and showed, you know, you don't need to be in this office more than 2 terms. And he set a great precedent that was followed by every other president right up till FDR. And because FDR was such a nightmare in 1951, you know, they got the constitutional amendment through. The 22nd Amendment came out. Why? Because FDR had seized so much power that even Democrats were against anybody doing that ever again. So, I don't know. I think you'd have a real problem if you try to run on a technicality like that. Interesting. Very, very interesting. But also a problem. You know, here he is on a roll, and he's doing really well. And I support almost all of what he's done. So why taint it with this talk and just play into the Democrat hysteria that he's trying to become a dictator? Why?
And do you think he's being serious?
I do think he is serious. The New York Times wrote an article that it might be strategy on his part because he doesn't want to be perceived as a lame duck president.
Interesting.
And so this helps him maintain more strength in the presidency. I mean, maybe. Also, John Thune said he might just be messing with reporters. I mean, that is possible, but it sure doesn't seem that way to me. Either way, I don't think it's helpful. You know, I mean, seriously, he's done a great job. don't give the Democrats any more ammunition. It's just unnecessary. So, really, to me, the only way to make this happen is a constitutional amendment. So, you'd need 2/3 in the House and the Senate, which is not going to happen. How likely is that? Then, after you get 2/3 of the House and the Senate, you also need 3/4 of the states to ratify it. That's 38 states. How likely is that? I don't know. While we're at it, could we also put to bed the option of taking Greenland by force? How about no on that? Because they seem to be intimating that that's a possibility. Really?
Oh, no.
Yeah. That's not the American way. I mean, the Prime Minister of Greenland, Jens Frederick Nielsen, said, "We must listen when others talk about us, but we must not be shaken." President Trump says the United States is getting Greenland. Let me make this clear. The United States is not getting that. We don't belong to anyone else. We decide our own future. We must not act out of fear. We must respond with peace, dignity, and unity. And it is through these values, he says, that we must clearly, and calmly show the American president that Greenland is ours. It was like that yesterday. That's how it is today. And that's how it will be in the future. I mean, is it worth firing up everybody else looking at us as imperialists to even leave that on the table? I don't think you even leave that on the table, that we're going to take Greenland by military force. Just these two things are a little problematic right now. It seems to me. It just plays into the hysteria, again, of the Democrat Party. Oh, he's a dictator. He's an imperialist. He's a fascist. Don't give them something to hang on to and beat him with, because he's on such a roll right now. I don't want that roll stopped. He's doing really excellent things. Since when did Greenland become the all-important national security position on the planet? It's really, rarely ever been discussed. Why? Why all of a sudden now must we have it and its resources? You know, if they want to become an American territory, I think that's great. I don't think we force them. I really don't. Is this worth tainting our reputation all over the world for? Maybe. I don't know. He must think it is. I think the president believes it is. So is the Kid Rock thing with Bill Maher, was that last night, or are they doing that today?
I don't know if
I think it's today, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
I thought it was yesterday, but
Kid Rock was there yesterday.
So he joined him in the Oval Office.
Yeah, we needed another executive order.
Okay. And here's Kid Rock joining the president in the Oval Office.
Bob, you want to say something?
Yeah, anybody it doesn't matter your politics.
Nice.
First off, thank you, Mr. President, because
Nice
this has happened at lightning speed.
Jeez.
I know you put, I want to make sure Alina Habba gets her credit too, because I know she worked very hard on this, but thank you for making this happen so quick. Anyone who's bought a concert ticket in the last decade, maybe 20 years,
Kid Rock has
no matter what your
multiple
politics are, knows that it's a come down.
Sharpies.
You buy a ticket for $100, by
With
the
him.
time you check out, it's $170. You don't know what you can charge for, but more importantly, these bots. You know, they come in to get all the good tickets to your favorite shows you want to go to, and then they're relisted immediately for sometimes a 400% or 500% markup. And the artists don't see any of that money. And, you know, ultimately, I think this is a great first step. I would love down the road if there would be some legislation that we could actually put a cap on the resale of tickets. And I'm a capitalist and a deregulation guy, but they've tried this in some places in Europe, and it seems to be the only thing that's us as artists be able to get the tickets into the hands of the fans at the prices we set. I'll be the first one to say, and I know the president doesn't like when I say this, but I'm a little overpaid right now. It's kind of ridiculous. I would rather be, you know, a hero to the working class people and have them be able to come attend my shows and give them a fair ticket price. I can't control that right now, so hopefully this is a step to really be able to make that happen.
If you're making that kind of money, you should make better fashion choices. It's my personal opinion, especially if you're going to the Oval Office.
Apparently can't afford a belt.
Or decent clothes.
Oh, what do you mean?
That is his style.
Those clothes are absolutely decent.
Is that what you would wear to the Oval Office?
They just don't fit. I mean,
yeah, it's great.
Is that what I would wear? No, I don't think so.
I don't think that would be my fashion choice for the Oval Office, but I'm not Kid Rock.
I mean, he pulls it off.
Yeah.
He pulls it off.
It's great. Can anybody really pull that off? I don't know.
Kid Rock can.
I don't know. Yeah, okay. And he had more. There was more.
Of course, sir. So this is an executive order, as you said, that deals with the ticket reselling business. For fans of live entertainment and for entertainers as well, the ticket reselling industry has become a huge issue.
I think we just talked about that.
These people use bots and computer algorithms to buy up huge blocks of tickets.
This guy loves just talking.
Yeah, he does.
Live entertainment.
One job, guys.
I almost called him Mr. Rock. Don't have access to concerts the way that they should. And when they do, it's at exorbitantly high prices. So what this executive order does, it charges the FTC and the Department of Justice with rigorously enforcing laws on the books in collaboration with state attorneys general that have power over
So why do we need an executive order if the law's already on the books?
That's
what I'm trying to figure out.
Issue. So that entertainers and fans won't be subject to these abusive and oftentimes illegal practices.
Good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, he's a tad verbose, but he likes to talk. He obviously loves it. All right, so I guess that's going to lower the ticket prices, which
we'll see, right?
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see. It is interesting though, because in this resale market, that's the one good thing about it is you can always get a ticket to even sold out shows. So that's been something cool about the secondary market. But charging 3 and 4 times the face value of the ticket kind of sucks. When you look at the ticket, it's $800 for one seat to an event you really want to attend. I mean, that prices almost everybody out of the event. But I don't know if that's the issue that the executive office should be handling. Kid Rock apparently thinks it is. So anyway, he's got that dinner today with Kid Rock and Bill Maher. That should be interesting.
I'd like to be a fly on the wall for that.
Yeah, that would be fascinating. All right, let me tell you about one of the best things in life, and that's a delicious, juicy, tender steak. And I really love it when that steak comes from a cow that was raised right here in Texas. If you want to buy beef from a family-owned, 5th-generation ranch, like I do, look no further than Tri-Tails Beef. You can bring premium Texas beef to your table because these are top-tier cuts of meat. They're hand-packed and delivered directly to you. These are USDA prime and choice cuts with high-end Black Angus genetics that ensure that every bite is going to be consistently delicious. There's no grass-fed gimmicks here. Just premium, flavorful beef that's been raised the right way and balanced for tenderness and marbling, which means these cattle are pasture-raised, grain-finished by Texans who care about the quality of their product. So if you love steak as much as I do, go to trybeef.com/Pat Gray. Right now, you can get free steak tips on orders over $249.99. That's trybeef.com/Pat Gray to get free steak tips on orders over $249.99.
Pat Gray returns.
Oh, we've got cabinet members making all kinds of videos. Yesterday, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth made a video about military standards.
Hey everybody, Pete Hegseth here. We're about to land in Washington, D.C. on our way back from Japan, where we've been meeting with the troops, talking to allies and partners, reestablishing deterrence in the Indo-Pacific. It's Sunday, but of course we're still working. I want to show you one thing. It's a new memorandum that's coming out today on combat arms standards. You see, for far too long, we allowed standards to slip and different standards for men and women and combat arms MOSs and jobs. That's not acceptable. We need to have the same standard, male or female, in our combat roles to ensure our men and women who are under our leaders or in those formations have the best possible leaders and the highest possible standards that are not based at all on your sex, if you're a man or a woman. So I'm signing this memorandum today. The services will review, and soon we will have nothing but the highest and equal standards for men and women in combat.
I don't know how you argue with that.
No.
But they will. They will. It'll be discriminatory, I guess, or who knows what they'll be screaming about. But if they can't meet the standards of the tests, they shouldn't be in those positions. And what he doesn't mention there is that when they initially set this up, they said, okay, the standards are going to be the same. Well, the women couldn't meet those standards. And so they lowered the standards for women.
Yeah, this is a dangerous form of DEI that they're taking out of the service, thankfully.
Yeah.
Because,
thank heaven.
Yeah, if you're in the service, you'd like to have the best people around you to ensure your safety and the mission.
Kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just a no-brainer.
It just kind of makes sense. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, if we're going to be invading Greenland soon, you want only the elite to be able to get into the military so we can pull this off.
Especially if Joy Reid is accurate in that we couldn't beat Canada at a war. We definitely want to make sure.
Right.
Standards are up.
Those people. Those people. Meanwhile, the head of the EPA, Lee Zeldin, told us what's going on over at the EPA Museum, which was Biden's pet project.
If you were to visit the museum located here at EPA headquarters in D.C., you would learn a lot about the road to environmental justice and climate change.
Thank goodness.
This museum claims EPA pursues its mission by advancing environmental justice, equity, and civil rights compliance.
Oh, my gosh.
A timeline of key events conveniently omits any mention of President Trump's first administration. I'm currently standing inside of this museum, which was built and curated by the Biden administration with $4 million in taxpayer dollars. As if this wasn't enough of a price tag to fill a room the size of an apartment. This shrine to environmental justice and climate change cost the American taxpayer $600,000 to operate annually. This agency has been spending $123,000 on cleaning, $207,000 for security, $54,000 on maintenance, and an additional $54,000 on storage. From May 2024 through last month, only 1,909 members of the public visited the museum.
Seven people a day.
Even though it is free admission, this museum costs you, the taxpayer, $315 per external visitor. I have pledged to be an exceptional steward of taxpayer dollars. So this shrine to EJ and climate change will now be shut down for good.
Oh, wow.
I will do my part to help the American people learn more about the amazing work of our agency to provide cleaner, healthier, and safer land, air, and water. We will do so without paying over $500,000 in tax dollars on a museum that is barely visited and designed to tell an ideologically slanted, partial story of the EPA. Under President Trump, we are ending the practice of burning tax dollars on pet projects that do nothing to help this agency achieve our mission of protecting human health and the environment.
That's awesome.
So wait,
that's awesome.
More than 40% of the museum's visitors were EPA staff? I don't know if that's part of that.
The 1,909 that visited?
Holy crap.
Can you imagine how heartbroken those 1,900 people are going to be, though?
When is the last day? I mean, you're running out of time.
He should have told us that.
Should have told us that.
So we could quickly book a flight to D.C. to attend the museum. Wow.
That stinks.
Where am I going to go now to find out about what we're doing for environmental justice? Where do I go? There's nowhere in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex for that. That's just unconscionable. Where are the protesters with their signs? Hopefully they're on their way.
Right.
They're on their way.
Where is
to
the
a corner.
protest?
Yeah.
They're going to shut down the EPA museum, y'all. Get over there. Let's see here. It doesn't say when the last day is, so you got a little bit of time, I guess. He was kind of ambiguous there, wasn't he?
Kind of. Unless they just shut it down yesterday and that was the end.
Like, sucks for you.
They might as well just lock the door behind them, turn off all the lights. It's fine. Nobody would even notice.
7 people a day. And they may have been half EPA.
Probably. I'll bet that 1,909 figure included the EPA employees. Fantastic. President Trump is apparently pissed off at Vladimir Putin. I thought he was in love with Putin. Well, we were told
that's
that they
what
were.
I heard.
They're like in league together, and that they had some kind of bromance going on. Now he's pissed. So he told NBC News he's frustrated because Putin is not moving in the right direction toward a peace agreement with Ukraine. Putin disparaged Zelensky's leadership on Friday. How dare he? Zelensky is untouchable. You can't say anything bad about Vladimir Zelensky. Doesn't Putin realize that you're in love with Putin? Well, and that works out pretty well because he is in love with himself. So, but here's what President Trump said. If Russia and I are unable to make a deal on stopping the bloodshed in Ukraine, and I think it was Russia's fault, which it might not be, but I think it was Russia's fault, I'm going to put secondary tariffs on oil, on all oil coming out of Russia. Okay.
Yeah. Interesting, huh?
That would be that if you buy oil from Russia. You can't do business in the United States. There will be a 25% tariff on all oil, 25 to 50% tariff on all oil. He clarified that his anger will quickly dissipate if Putin does the right thing. So I guess they spoke last week. Apparently didn't go well. And, Putin's difficult to deal with, that's for sure.
Chris, did we have any more information on the assassination attempt? I don't know who was. Did you see that footage over the weekend, Pat, of the car that exploded reportedly in Putin's entourage? Do we have any details?
Oh no,
on that? No follow-ups.
Other than the videos of the limousine and the comments made by.
Exactly.
That's it.
Zelensky saying Vladimir Putin's going to be dead soon, and then a car explodes in his motorcade.
Right. That's interesting.
What are we doing?
Wow.
Just
so is that what he was talking about, I wonder?
I don't know. But who disagrees with that comment from Putin that we need leadership change in Ukraine? I mean, that's a fact, especially when you consider it's been a year since Zelensky said, "Nah, we're not going to do elections. I'm still your leader." So, I don't know.
Yeah, he's trying to stay in power as long as this conflict, which is maybe why he drags his feet on resolving the conflict. I don't know, but in a minute we're going to tell you about something that we've been suspecting. I mean, how many times have we said that we were more deeply involved in Ukraine's war with Russia than we were being told? Said it over and over and over again, and that there was even more involvement on the way, and eventually that would lead to boots on the ground. Interestingly, the New York Times pretty well confirmed it. 2 months after the war started, 2 Ukrainian generals secretly left Kiev for Wiesbaden, Germany, to meet with the American command of the European theater, and of course seek America's help. And it's a pretty interesting story. I mean, we obviously gave them our help, but it was much more than weapons, cash, and humanitarian aid that we've been told about. We know about some of it already. More than 500 million rounds of small arms ammunition and grenades, 10,000 Javelin anti-armor weapons, 3,000 Stinger anti-aircraft systems, 272 howitzers, 76 tanks, which of course we were told from the beginning we'll never give them tanks because that's crossing a red line, 40 high-mobility artillery rocket systems, 20 Mi-17 helicopters, and 3 Patriot air defense batteries. So that's what we knew about. That's what they were pretty open about. But a New York Times investigation reveals America was woven into the war far more intimately and broadly than we previously knew about. Tell you a little bit about that coming up here. It's amazing. It's amazing what the Biden administration did with Ukraine. And who knows what would have happened were they allowed to continue that. 888-900-3393. More coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
I was telling you about the New York Times investigation over the Ukraine aid that we were giving them. Some of the really intimate details, the things that we didn't know about how deeply involved we were. I'm surprised the New York Times did any investigation into this, but they say that at critical moments, the partnership was between us and Ukraine was the backbone of the Ukrainian military operations. That by U.S. accounts have killed or wounded more than 700,000 Russian soldiers. Ukraine puts its casualty toll at 435,000. So over 1.1 million have been casualties of this war. And those are just soldiers. That's just the military. I don't know about the civilian count. So the mission to Wiesbaden by these Ukrainian generals, they planned Kiev's counteroffensives. A vast American intelligence collection effort, both guided big-picture battle strategy and funneled precise targeting information down to Ukrainian soldiers in the field. One European intelligence chief recalled being taken aback to learn just how deeply enmeshed we were in the Ukrainian operations. He said the Americans are part of the kill chain now.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. The partnership's guiding idea was that this close cooperation might allow the Ukrainians to accomplish the unlikeliest of feats, deliver the invading Russians a crushing blow. And in strike after successful strike in the first chapters of the war, enabled by Ukrainian bravery and dexterity, according to the New York Times, but also Russian incompetence. I think that's the thing that took everybody aback. We were surprised how incompetent the Russians were. But the ambition that the Ukrainians had to just win this war seemed within reach, thanks to us. And early proof of that concept was a campaign against one of Russia's most feared battle groups, the 58th Combined Arms Army. In mid-2022, using American intelligence and targeting information, the Ukrainians unleashed a rocket barrage at the headquarters of the 58th in the Kherson region, killing generals and staff officers inside. Again and again, the group set up another location. Each time, the Americans found it, and the Ukrainians destroyed it. Farther south, the partners set their sights on the Crimean port of Sevastopol, where the Russian Black Sea Fleet loaded missiles destined for Ukrainian targets onto warships and submarines. At the height of Ukraine's 2022 counteroffensive, a pre-dawn swarm of maritime drones with support from the CIA attacked the port, damaging several ships and prompting the Russians to begin pulling them back. I remember reading and talking about all of this. But ultimately, the partnership strained and the arc of the war shifted amid rivalries, resentments, and diverging imperatives and agendas. So the Ukrainian generals started becoming jealous of the Americans being able to tell them what to do from 1,300 miles away. So they started getting more secretive about what they were doing. And then we started doubting them. And so the trust issue became a problem. And that's when the Ukrainians started losing this war.
It's almost like there was somebody in history, see if this rings a bell, said don't get involved in foreign conflicts. Probably somebody that was inconsequential.
Wow. Was that like,
I don't know,
somebody a long time ago?
Probably. Probably wore a wig.
Yeah.
So
powdered? Maybe powdered.
So we don't count.
Yeah. Okay.
His opinion.
Were they maybe racists and wealthy white people?
Slave owners?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay.
We discount those opinions.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what George Washington said. This is exactly why you don't get involved in stuff that doesn't directly affect the safety of your nation.
Exactly. I mean, we were enamored with, I think, helping to disable the Russian army. And we saw a chance to test out our strategy, our surveillance, our intelligence, our weaponry, all of that stuff. Hey, here's a chance to test out all of that stuff on the Russians without really even being at war with Russia.
Okay, maybe some people had that angle, but it was all about the Benjamins, man.
Sure.
It was all about the money laundering, and we've seen what USAID is involved in. And you've got war hawks that love this, but this was a way to make money.
But then you've got the Bidens making a lot of money from this. You know they did.
Oh, of course.
Deny it as they may, and they did. You know it's true. You know they made millions off of this thing. And where is all that money that Zelensky even said? Yeah, we didn't even get half of what you're saying. We didn't get half of it.
Check that man's bank account.
Yeah, I'd like to do that too. So that, to me, that could be a little bit of both. He might have pocketed a lot of that, but I think a lot of it went right back to Biden and his ilk here in the U.S. So a fascinating story, and even after all of that from the New York Times, they still paint an ugly picture of Donald Trump trying to extract us from this thing. What does it take? Seriously, what does it take to learn the lesson here that we shouldn't be involved in all of this nonsense? Unless, of course, we're attacked, and then, it's completely justified. But we haven't been attacked, so let's stop the madness. How about that? All right, let me tell you about Jace Medical. If you want to be prepared for any eventuality, any kind of emergency situation, this is a great way to go. We live in a world that's constantly changing, and sometimes we don't see those changes coming. But one thing that will always remain the same is the need to be ready for whatever happens. Some of the preparedness items that are vital include emergency contacts, plan for you and your family for evacuation routes and meeting places, a getaway bag with important documents, flashlights and batteries, and non-perishable food, of course. But you also should really consider a Jace case. This comes with antibiotics that can treat any kind of bacterial infection. I can't recommend this highly enough. If you're the type of person that likes to be prepared for any sort of disaster or even an inconvenience, you're absolutely going to want this for your home. The Jace case is a personalized emergency kit that contains essential antibiotics and medications that treat the most common and deadly bacterial infections. Plus, it can also provide you with things like ivermectin. You can get that as an add-on if you want. All you have to do is go to jace.com, enter their giveaway, or you just purchase your own case. Or do both. Enter the promo code PAT at checkout for a discount on your order. That's promo code PAT at jace.com.
Pat Gray is Unleashed.
The leader of El Salvador, President Bukele, posted a video on Twitter about how his nation is helping rid the United States of our illegal alien gang problem.
Boy, I love this. It's just, welcome to your new home.
Yeah. So we got this tweet from Bill Malugin. 17 illegal aliens with serious criminal histories were removed to El Salvador last night after being held at Guantanamo Bay, White House officials tell Fox News. They include 7 alleged TDA members, Tren de Aragua, and several convicted murderers, rapists, and pedophiles. None were removed via the Alien Enemies Act.
Interesting.
All were deported via the Title 8 regular U.S. immigration code. Okay? Here's some of the wonderful, beautiful people.
Yeah, and this is what we wanted to see.
Yeah.
I want to see individual crimes attributed to individuals.
Because what are we hearing? Oh, you're deporting people who are here with their families, trying to support their families. Really? Is that what's going on?
What's going on?
Elmer Concepcion Romero Yanez.
Time out. His name is Elmer?
Elmer is his first name, yes. Yes.
Okay. Are these made-up names? Try harder.
Salvadoran national convicted of homicide. Okay. So he was deported. Kivas Jesus Erigdendera Vasquez.
Kivas.
Okay, that's too many names. All right. Just based on the 4 names alone, you need to go. Yeah. A Venezuelan national alleged Tren de Aragua leader with pending drug charges. White House provided photos of him with crown tattoos. They're deporting people just because they're tattoos. Okay. Carlos Guillen, a Salvadoran national convicted of rape and aggravated assault of a minor. Jorge Quintero, an alleged Venezuelan Tren de Aragua gang member convicted of sexual crimes, assault on a minor, and criminal weapons possession. Felipe Gomez, a Salvadoran national convicted of homicide. Hate to see him go, don't you?
Yeah.
Leandro Gerardo Zambrano, a Venezuelan alleged Tren de Aragua member with pending charges for kidnapping and assault. Rafael Mejia, a Salvadoran national convicted of child molestation and multiple lewd acts with a child.
Oh, we're going to miss him.
Brillant Raseo, a Venezuelan self-admitted Tren de Aragua gang member.
Oh.
Lino Perez Delgado, a Salvadoran national convicted of sexual assault of a minor. You seeing a trend here at all? Let's see. Jose Morales Hernandez, a Salvadoran national convicted of homicide and negligent manslaughter.
You remember during the campaign, Trump mentioned on multiple occasions that Bukele, remember he kind of referred to how he emptied his prisons, and that's how he's been able to get the crime rate in El Salvador down.
Huh. Sounds like these might have been some of the people he was speaking of, doesn't it?
Huh.
Some of the wonderful picked-on people that were, just for no reason other than tattoos, deporting.
El Salvador's chickens.
Coming home to roost. Brillant Roseo, self-admitted de Aragua member. Lino Delgado, sexual assault of a minor. I'm down to Elmer Escobar Gonzalez, a Salvadoran national. Another
Elmers?
Yeah, another Elmer. Convicted of sexual assault. Jose Medrano Hernandez, Salvadoran national, convicted of aggravated sexual abuse of a child. Alejandro Ramos, a Salvadoran national, convicted of sexual exploitation of a minor aged under 13.
Oh, my gosh.
And aggravated assault.
They're not sending their best. They're not sending their brightest, as someone once said.
Maker Escalona, Venezuelan national, alleged to be a confirmed gang member, convicted of prostitution and recruiting.
So he's a pimp.
Apparently. Ricardo Labrador, a Venezuelan, alleged Tren de Aragua gang member, convicted of unlawful detention and disorderly conduct. And Victor Ortega Burbano, Venezuelan, alleged Tren de Aragua gang member with pending charges for discharge of a firearm and theft. All right, just some of the beautiful people who have, for no reason whatsoever, other than they have tattoos, sent out of our nation.
Boy, what are we going to do without all that cultural enrichment?
Right. Right. They were just adding their uniqueness to ours.
Yeah.
That's all they were doing?
Okay. Gonna miss them.
Oh, I already do. Well, okay, I'm over it now.
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah.
It almost was like
I struggled, though, for like a quarter of a second there. Struggled. Meanwhile, TikToker has posted a video because these people are morons.
Oh, gosh, this is evil.
TikToker posted a video calling for violence against ICE agents.
Oh, God.
That's not okay. That's just not okay. Wow.
What is our country coming to? Do you like separating families?
Well, yeah, if they deserve separation. By the way, when we separate them from their families, as Tom Homan said, they don't have to be separated from their families. Their families can go home with them. Go.
Tom Homan, man.
Keep your family together. Gather them all up. We'll deport the whole lot of them. You get a free ride back to El Salvador or Colombia or Argentina, wherever you came from. Bye-bye.
I love him.
Oh, man. It's unconscionable what they're trying to justify here. And the problem is it works with a lot of people, especially on the left. Yeah, why? Why are they deporting all of these wonderful people? Why would you separate families from their children? They never ask that question of American citizens who have committed crimes. Never. Why would you separate that man who committed tax evasion? Why would you separate him from his family? You can't do that. What's he doing in jail? Doesn't matter. They just get special privileges, special consideration, I guess, if you're here from El Salvador or Mexico.
What is our total up? We're over 100,000 deported.
Yes.
Right? What is that?
I think
again?
it's 113,000.
113,000.
Yeah. In March.
Wow.
In March, illegal crossings were 7,000. March a year ago, it was 137,000. Wow. Something's been effective, hasn't it? So divide 7,000 by 31, and that's how many people a day are crossing the border. So it's gone from 12,000 every day to an average of, I don't know, a few hundred a day. But it's an amazing drop.
We did have an Obama judge block the deportation.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, 600,000.
Just keeps happening.
Because it's racism, he says. Get out of my face.
888-900-3393.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Great to have you with us. You know what? These are turbulent economic times. You got some tariff wars. You got recession fears. You have stubborn inflation. No wonder gold has been routinely hitting all-time highs. Like it's gone above 3,000 multiple times. In volatile markets like right now, don't sit on the sidelines with your head in the sand. Take control and safeguard your savings. That's why so many Americans today are turning to Birch Gold Group. They've helped tens of thousands convert an existing IRA or a 401k into an IRA in physical gold. Is it time for you to hedge against inflation and economic instability with gold? If you want to learn how to own physical gold in a tax-sheltered account, text PAT to 989898. Birch Gold will send you a free, no-obligation info kit. Go through it, see if it's right for you. Again, text my name, Pat, to the number 989898. They have an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. They've got countless 5-star reviews. I trust Birch Gold to help me protect my savings with gold, and you can too. Took us decades to get into the tangled mess that the Trump administration is trying to undo right now. How long will it take to get out of it? Who knows? But in the meantime, you can do something about your savings. Text PAT to 989898 today.
Now, more of Pat Gray Unleashed.
And some tweets. Sarah the band tweets, if we wanted a king, we could have stayed a monarchy. We need to stop with this stupid-ass third-term talk. Yeah, I don't think it's productive. Unrepentant thought criminal. While everybody's attention is on Trump talking about a third term, crack commando unit has landed on Greenland, referring to the A-Team. Okay. All right. Jimmy Dimples with his outfit. I think Kid Rock was going to hop on a motorcycle and jump 21 school buses in the Rose Garden after he finished speaking. Little reference to
Evel Knievel.
Evel Knievel.
Love it.
We don't have enough of those. Enough. We should reference Evel Knievel more.
Yeah.
Miss those days.
Yeah.
Wesley D's Twit or Talk Show and Clown Emporium.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
That's a lot. Wouldn't it be ironic if more protesters showed up at the EPA museum after it closed than visitors showed up during its history?
That's funny.
Yeah. Today is April 1st. It's April Fool's Day. I mean, there's too much reality to really try the April Fool's tricks anymore. I mean, it's just like, okay, reality is too weird to begin with.
So you don't have any big
I don't really have any
pranks planned?
No. Not like we used to do in the old days.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good times, though. Those were good times.
Boy, I mean, we fooled the city of Houston back in the day.
Yeah, a few times. We did.
Told them that Enron Field was getting renamed after the
hated
mayor Lee P. Brown. Yeah, Lee P. Brown Field.
So pissed off about
that. Good stuff. That was good radio right there.
Yeah. In Baltimore, we did the underground museum. Not museum, but the world's first air-conditioned underground amusement park.
That's cool.
Six Flags Under Baltimore. Look for the big pile of dirt on the Baltimore Beltway, and that's where they dug it. Had people circling the Beltway for hours trying to find it.
Six Flags Under Baltimore. Awesome.
It featured a really fun ride, a 200-mile an hour roller coaster with I can't remember how big the drop was, but it was the biggest drop in the world.
Oh, my gosh.
Straight down,
How
vertical.
deep was this part?
It was very deep. Yeah, it was quite an amusement park. Nobody really stopped and thought, hey, is that even possible? Wouldn't we have heard something about this before now? I mean, it's open today? Really? Those rescued astronauts, Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams, they sat down for an interview yesterday with Fox News.
What would you like to say to President Trump and Elon Musk?
Thank you. How about that?
I respect you. I trust you. You've given me no reason not to trust you, either one of them. What they say, I can't say what they say. I haven't lived that. But I have no reason not to believe anything they say because they've earned my trust. And for that, I am grateful that our national leaders actually are coming in and taking part in our human spaceflight program, which we see is hugely important global significance. And they take an active role. And based on the past and what we see now, with them doing that, it's refreshing. Not just refreshing, it's empowering. It's strengthening for our nation. I think it's a good thing for our nation when the national leaders, especially something that has high visibility, are involved in the process. And I'm grateful for that.
And I'm just glad that they're involved and they take notice. And our situation, I think I've mentioned before, maybe wasn't the perfect situation, but allowed a lot of people, including the president and Elon, to look at what's going on the International Space Station, take it very seriously, and understand that our involvement as a country, as a spacefaring nation, is really important throughout the world. And it sets an example, and it shows, our ability to be able to do the hard things, put people in space, operate in space, work in space, and then bring us back. It's important, and I appreciate that them and many more people took notice of it.
You can tell they don't want this to become political. They don't want to be a part of that whole thing. They're trying to keep politics out of it, and they're trying to say good things about the president and Musk without being canceled in their lives. So I appreciate the fact that they're kind of they're between a rock and a hard place right now.
But they're back on Earth.
And it's thanks to Elon and Trump. So you're welcome.
And if Trump is going to pay out of his pocket, I want to see a little bit more thankfulness.
Yeah, no kidding.
From the astronauts, please.
Yeah, I think they are. They're trying to walk that line, though.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job.
They're in a tough position.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. But if Trump is going to pay out of his pocket, how about a little more thankfulness?
Yeah.
How about MAGA hat? Couple MAGA hats.
MAGA hat.
That's exactly what they're trying to avoid,
yes,
Chris.
But
yeah, thank you for the suggestion.
If Trump is paying for it, I want 2 MAGA hats, please.
So, speaking of the astronaut rescuer, Elon Musk, online influencer Ashley St. Clair, who claims to have given birth to his 13th child.
Yeah, me
right?
too.
And I think
I did too.
I
did too.
You gave birth to another of
'cause
Elon's children?
Yeah, because he said yesterday he gave her $2.5 million and
$500,000 a year.
Right. So, like I said, I gave birth to Elon's baby.
All right. Has there been a DNA
it's
test?
a private life.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah. Sorry. Didn't mean to intrude.
Just trying to enhance your story there.
Yeah.
Because you got a breaking news over here.
So she sold her Tesla yesterday.
How did the press find out about that, Chris?
Exactly. That's what a lot of people are saying. Wait, what's this? There's a paparazzi waiting for her outside in front of the Carvana truck.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's see.
Here's how that went.
I'm selling it because I need to make up for the 60%.
She needs to make up for the 60% cut in child support from Elon.
Why do you think that he did that?
That's a great question for her.
Okay, 60% cut is what she claims. Okay, he's given her $2.5 million and $500,000 per year. I'm sorry if you can't get by on that.
Make it work.
I can't help you. I mean, that's more than enough child support.
You've had a lot of kids. So you have billions of dollars where they cost you to raise all your kids because if 2.5 can't handle a 8-month-old.
Yeah, it's
well, I mean, inflation, Chris.
Adjusted for inflation.
Joe Biden really left us with a mess.
He did.
Did $2.5 million a year, and
maybe she buys an awful lot of eggs, and she was paying $8 a dozen for them.
She's in New York, so
couldn't possibly get by on $2.5 million if that's the case. So, hate to see her have to give up eggs in her diet and her child's diet.
What is she saying? More of this clip here. What is this? She's complaining and.
Modus operandi.
That's his modus operandi. When women speak out.
When was the last time that you spoke to him or tried to speak to him?
February 13th.
February 13th.
But he's just not responding to you at all. And how would you characterize the way that he's going about you and
You can check the stocks. I'm not the only one who's taking up authorized messes.
Bye, Tesla.
Okay, so there goes her Tesla being loaded on the truck.
And that was a gift to her from Elon, a $100,000 Tesla that Elon gifted her during their relationship.
Okay. That's great.
And where she's staying is paid by Elon as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so she pulls that stunt yesterday, and when she starts complaining to the press that Elon's not giving her enough money, that's when he finally responded yesterday, where he gave us the details you just read, Pat, about the money.
Yeah.
And
he doesn't even know that it's his child necessarily.
He's willing to do a test, though.
Do the test.
Ashley, you ready for this test?
Right. Do the test. Wouldn't it be something if it's not even his?
Right.
And he's given her all this money and she's been bitching about it. Oh, man.
Look at this.
Incredible.
Look at this back and forth yesterday. Do the test, and then who knows? Elon might end up saving himself quite a bit of cash.
And if you guys notice, she lost her blue check mark. So people think that she either stopped paying for the blue check mark or Elon removed her blue check mark. Because she was getting, according to Loomer, I don't know how she knew this, but she was getting about $25,000 a month just on X payouts because she is an influencer.
Huh.
Wow.
So now she doesn't get that payout. So now they're trying to figure out, did she stop paying for the premium or did Elon remove the blue?
Wow.
Wait, what do you mean?
This guy.
Elon, we asked you to confirm paternity through a test before our child, who you named, was even born. You refused. And you weren't sending me money. You were sending support to your child that you thought was necessary until you withdrew most of it to maintain control and punish me for disobedience.
Oh.
I mean, he hasn't been deemed the father in a DNA test. He's been giving her lots of money, And now she's upset that it's $500,000 a year is all. That's all he's given her. Despicable.
Yes.
It's amazing. I mean, what this guy is going through right now is unbelievable. So for people to call him greedy or whatever, I mean, some of the signs on Saturday in South Lake were talking about Elon Musk's greed. And I'm like, what? Wait, greed? The guy is worth $300 billion. $300 billion. He doesn't need any of this grief. If it were me and I was set like this for generations of time, I wouldn't be going through what he's going through. I think I'd withdraw from this whole thing. I mean, it's ruining his reputation. It's ruining his business. He's under attack from all sides, and he just keeps doing it. But he's greedy. And he's the one who should be deported. I mean, it's incredible what a patriot he is. Because who would put up with this? Who would keep doing this when you don't need to? He doesn't have to be doing this. He could be living large in the south of France or something right now, just enjoying his time.
No, I mean, and he's up in Wisconsin trying to get that Supreme Court seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he is so involved. And the word I think, was it Karoline Leavitt when she was asked last week or a couple weeks ago, like, how would you describe Elon Musk? And I think it's the first time I heard someone describe him as a patriot.
Of course he's a patriot.
And that is an absolute definition of Elon Musk.
Sure is.
God bless him.
Yeah, he gave out his first $1 million check in that little rally that he did.
He gave away two $1 million checks. Yeah.
In that little rally, he's paying for votes. Dude, he's not.
Jeez.
It's the same deal. Sign the petition, show up, here's $1 million.
It's amazing. All right. If you're making a big change in your life, like you're selling your house or buying a house, maybe you're doing both because you're relocating, it can be really, really stressful. But if you go to realestateagentsitrust.com, we'll help you find the best realtor to help you through that process and take that stress and help you make really good decisions that are stress-free, because they know what they're talking about. They're with the buyers all the time. They know what buyers are looking for. They know what you'll get your money out of and what you won't, and what you should do to remodel your house to get it ready for sale, and what you should just leave alone and sell as is. Real Estate Agents I Trust. It's a free service that we provide to you. This is Glenn's company, and he put it together because he didn't want you to have to go through a really bad realtor experience the way he did years ago. So go to Real Estate Agents I Trust. We'll set you up with somebody who has a lot in common with you because they're fans of the Blaze, and you're going to love the experience. Real Estate Agents I Trust. The name says it all. realestateagentsitrust.com.
Making the apocalypse fun. Pat Gray Unleashed returns after this.
I don't know about you, but I've been kind of obsessed, I guess, with the JFK situation since the release of the files. Trying to just soak in as much of the information as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And Glenn did a great show on it last week, if you missed it.
It was awesome.
But he brought up something I didn't know about before. Listen to this.
Do you recognize this gun?
You got the wood on there. You got the black scope on the top.
This is the sister gun used by Lee Harvey Oswald.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so I didn't know Lee Harvey Oswald's sister was involved in this, too. What was she doing with a gun?
I mean, this is getting out of control.
I didn't even know Lee Harvey Oswald had a sister. And all of a sudden now she's part of this?
And with a gun.
So was she the person on the grassy knoll? Is that what Glenn's saying there?
What a mess.
Oh, it's a mess.
So it runs in the family.
The plot thickens.
So if you put this with the Ana Paulina video that NBC or CBS has, so Oswald was actually underground, and then she was up there?
And then she was either in the book depository
or
window on the 6th floor, or she was on the grassy knoll. Either way, Lee Harvey Oswald's sister, apparently, according to Glenn, was involved in this thing. I did not realize it, but there you go. What are you going to do?
Hard-hitting news.
Seriously, though, last week, if you missed the show he did on JFK and they put the Oval Office back together for the show, it's
One
riveting.
One night only.
Riveting. Except he lied. I think it's still there in part.
He lied?
Yeah, I don't think they've completely torn it down yet. So I don't know what he's trying to pull there.
Of Lee Harvey Oswald.
And the Oval Office is still at least partially put together in the other studio. Of course, I haven't been in there since last Friday, so that may not be the case now. But I know it was longer than one night only. I do know that. Might want to ask him about that. Why'd you lie? Why'd you lie about one night only on the Oval Office set? I don't know. Part of the cover-up, I guess.
Part of the cover-up. It's a distraction.
Yeah. Yeah, it's to distract you from the actual point that, I guess, LB... Then we played that guy yesterday, which is amazing. The audio that had never been heard before, I think it originated with Alex Jones, right? He had the Clifton Carter tape who... was a longtime friend and associate and advisor to LBJ. And he was telling somebody on the phone that LBJ ordered the murder of JFK.
Well, Saul, it's been a pretty touch-and-go situation. Lyndon and I have had quite a few unpleasant words here lately over the deal that he hired Mike Wallace to assassinate the president. It's been hectic in every way, but we've lived through it this far. I guess we'll continue to do so. Lyndon should have never issued that order to Mike, but we've had our differences, and I'm a true blue to Lyndon, as I've always been, and tried to carry out every order that he'd ever given me. But this is one I'll probably never be able to forget.
And he disagreed with that.
Yeah.
So that caused a little friction between the two of them, as you can imagine. You know, when your friend says, I'm going to kill the president, and you're saying, I don't think that's a good idea. I could see a little bit of friction developing between the two of you. Might put a crimp in the relationship.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. But he said, what Clifton Carter said was that LBJ ordered Mac Wallace to kill JFK. And so I looked into, because I'd never heard of Mac Wallace before. Had you?
No.
I don't know who that is.
If I had, I had already forgotten him because one of hundreds of players.
So, according to a book that was written on this subject, among the remaining mysteries has been LBJ's relationship to Mac Wallace, who in 1951 shot a Texas man having an affair with LBJ's loose cannon sister, Josepha. Okay, so that's a complicated mess. That also happened to be Mac Wallace's lover. Okay. So he shot a man who was having an affair with his lover, essentially.
Okay.
When arrested, Wallace coolly said, I work for Johnson. I need to get back to Washington. Charged with murder, though, he was overnight defended by LBJ's powerful lawyer, John Cofer. And he was convicted, but amazingly, his sentence was a suspended sentence. That's what he got. No jail time for killing the person who was having an affair with his lover. He then got this is after a murder conviction. He then got high security clearance from Lyndon Baines Johnson and friend and defense contractor D.H. Byrd, which the Office of Naval Intelligence tried to revoke for 11 years without any success. So he got high-level clearance after a murder conviction from LBJ. And this is the person that is said to have shot and killed JFK. It's fascinating. I mean, is any of it true? I don't know. Who knows?
And LBJ should have never even been anywhere near Washington, D.C.
Oh, my gosh. The guy was a douchebag.
Well, not only that, but he stole his damn Senate seat to begin with.
Yes.
It's
1948, I believe.
Yes, all of these weird little quirks in history.
Yeah.
And
so many scandals. It's hard to know where to even begin on that whole situation because there's so much wrong with it. And there's so much that's been covered up or just forgotten or wasn't really talked about because it was a different time in America. And a lot of times these journalists covered for these guys. You know, with JFK and his affairs, I mean, there were women in and out of the White House all the time. And it was fairly obvious, and nobody talked about it. As that was his private life, leave it alone. Really? Okay. All right. So the whole Marilyn Monroe thing kind of went undetected and not discussed, and all the rest of his affairs went undiscussed and unnoticed. Jackie noticed, Jacqueline noticed, I think, that there were a few women in and out, and she probably didn't appreciate that very much. But she dealt with it. She just kind of lived with it. But it's a fascinating situation, and I would really love a definitive answer on what happened. And we're just not going to get one, obviously.
So if you get it, are you going to believe it, or are you still going to question it?
I'll never believe it.
Yeah, at this point,
I'm there too.
You just won't believe anything you're being told? Well, I mean, we've been led down that path, so of course we're there now. It's been 62 years we haven't heard the truth. Why would we hear the truth now? I don't know. 888-900-3393. More coming up.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Silent greed made out of people.
Silent breed is people!
Yeah. Just a surprise ending there. If you've not seen Soylent Green yet from 1970, featuring Charlton Heston, sorry to ruin it for you. I mean, it's only been 55 years. There's a lot of people who haven't seen it yet. And you're probably just thinking about, you know what? I'm going to go home tonight and I'm going to watch Soylent Green. And now he just blew it.
You blew the ending.
Yeah. Soylent Green. Huh. It's people. So there you go. Got some tweets here. Patrick Henry tweets, come on, guys. You know Ashley St. Clair was paid $2.5 million in 2024 dollars. How do you expect a girl to live on that kind of pittance?
Right.
And if she keeps running her mouth on poverty, she might just be able to join Jimmy Hoffa. Oh, wow.
Oh, whoa. Oh, no. My goodness. That took a dark turn.
It did, didn't it?
Guess next time I'll read the entire tweet at a time.
Colonel Casey's Desert Eagle or Desert Eagle? Yeah, I think with just the one S. It's probably desert. Maybe don't give her a car, but instead gift her a course in money management.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good idea because, should be somewhat sufficient. Just to muck and fetch. Keith's newest baby has quite the pedigree. Elon as his dad and Gene Hackman as his grandfather. Yeah, that is quite the pedigree. That's true. From Mach 5, Billie Jean is not my lover. I feel a Pat Gray unleashed MJ impersonation looming. No, yeah, see? Ooh. I don't know. What am I, a trained monkey? No,
oh, wait.
No, I'm not your trained monkey.
Hold on.
So.
Hold on a second. Oh, no.
What are you holding on for?
Well, wait till the tweets are over.
Yeah, okay. From Gender McGenderface, you guys are such shills. We all know who really killed JFK. The truth is out. We all know Rafael Cruz, Ted Cruz's dad, was on the grassy knoll. So you can stop running cover for him now.
There it is. Well,
they got us.
Now that tweets are over, what would you like to say about being a trained monkey?
I'm not your trained monkey. That's what I'd like to say. I'm not your trained monkey. You can't just lead me down that path to do a Michael Jackson imitation.
The irony is thick right now.
Isn't it?
Ribbit.
All right.
Anything else you want to say?
Nah, I think that's about it.
Okay.
Yesterday, we didn't get to the video of the 61-year-old Tesla driver. You've probably seen this by now. The Tesla driver that was attacked. She's 61. This douchebag gets out of his car.
Take a look at this. This is video from the victim's Tesla camera. It shows a green car pulling up to a Tesla on busy Route 66, then swerving in front to box the Tesla in. The driver then walks over to the 61-year-old woman in the Tesla and reportedly starts hitting her while she's sitting behind the wheel. At one point, the woman says she bit the man's hand. Moments later, the passenger of the green car appears to walk over and pull the attacker away. They finally get back in their car and drive off. We spoke to the victim today who said she was terrified and can't understand why anyone would do this.
I was just stunned, and I wished that I would have had
a gun.
That'd be nice.
Someone with me that would have protected me.
Or a gun.
I'm just appalled. I didn't buy my car for a political statement. I bought my car because it's really fun to drive, and my politics have nothing to do with that. And I'm ashamed of our society and what they're doing.
The victim, along with the other Tesla owner who received a threatening note and text, have both now signed up for a gun safety course at a gun range north of Flagstaff.
Good idea.
They tell us they don't feel safe right now and want to be able to protect themselves.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good planning.
Yeah, it is. Good safety tip, don't roll down your window when somebody cuts you off like that.
That's another
Gets
one.
out of their car and walks over to you in a menacing way. Don't roll down the window.
I mean, unless you don't want your bullet to break the glass of your window.
Well, I mean, if you got the gun, yeah, go ahead and roll down the window because you don't want to damage your car.
Say hello to my little friend.
That is unbelievable.
They're
just sick.
Liberals are mentally ill to begin with, and then the dumbest little thing sets them off. It is. You'll be safe out there.
Fortunately, Attorney General Pam Bondi had some things to say about the whole deal yesterday.
I've made it clear, if you take part in the wave of domestic terrorism against Tesla properties, we will find you, arrest you, and put you behind bars.
Good.
Today, I'm proud to announce that the Department of Justice has unsealed federal charges against another Tesla attacker. We've charged Cooper Frederick in the firebombing of a Tesla dealership that occurred on March 7th in Loveland, Colorado.
Good.
All of these cases are a serious threat to public safety. Therefore, there will be no negotiating. We are seeking 20 years in prison.
Yes.
The crime was committed in Colorado, and thanks to the great investigative work by the FBI, the defendant was arrested in Plano, Texas. Let this be a warning. You can run, but you cannot hide.
Wow.
Justice is coming.
Glad to see this.
Yeah, that is awesome.
It is about dang time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So wait a minute. If he crossed state lines, that makes it a federal case. Is that what she was saying there?
I believe so.
Yeah. She's also saying we'll find you wherever you are. Because it happened in Colorado. He's arrested in Plano. Okay. Yeah, they got some reach there.
Yep. Also
so
says
you're
that
not going to be safe.
if you're paid to go to another state, careful what you get for. Because most of these people are getting paid.
Careful what you get for.
Be careful what you get for. I was thinking the same thing, Chris. Be careful what you get for.
That's some words to live by, if I've ever heard them.
Yeah. And I'm sure that'll be repeated often in the coming days and tweets. So
definitely it will.
Yeah, it will.
Careful. What was it again?
Be careful what you get for. How many times have we said it on this show?
Did you see? Yeah, right. Careful what you get for.
Over the years.
Yeah, that's a
it's either
patism.
that or me talking about my chickens. Which one do you want? You want improper grammar or do you want my chicken talk? You can't have it both.
Chicken talk. Chicken Talk with Chris Coons, a new podcast on the Blaze Radio and TV network. So, did you see the one video of the guy? I didn't send this in because it's just so gross. This guy starts, how do I say this? Elvis Presley impersonate, gyrating against a Tesla. And he apparently left his car in neutral. And it just starts rolling away. And in the background, you see it. The car's getting smaller and smaller, and he's oblivious as he's doing his thing.
What a moron.
And the Tesla captures him.
Did it smash into something, hopefully?
No, because, and then he turns around and goes, oh, and then he starts running after his car, and then the video cuts off. I hope he got hit in traffic. I hope his car got totaled, something. But you never know if he caught up to it or not. But
wow.
It's fun stuff.
There was a great story from Business Insider about what's going on right now with these Teslas and just wealth in general being attacked right now. It's a story about stealing things from Whole Foods because Whole Foods is owned by Amazon. Well, wait, Amazon's one of your guys, right? I mean, Jeff Bezos is not a conservative by any stretch. He's not a Trump supporter. But it starts out from Business Insider, a person named Lee, who insists he's famously a very good Catholic. He's a moral person. His mother raised him right. And by his internal calculation, it's okay to shoplift from Whole Foods. Why? Because Jeff Bezos. From about 2020 to 2022, Lee, 20-something communications professional living in the Washington, D.C. area, engaged in what he describes as grand theft autoing from his local Whole Foods store. He would cheat the scale at the hot bar, pocket spices, or take home 4 lemons in the self-checkout aisle when he only paid for 2. Lee has never shoplifted from anywhere else, not Safeway, not any of the local stores. He's largely stopped taking from Whole Foods because he moved to a different neighborhood that doesn't have one. However, he said there's one by his gym he'll stop into from time to time and steal from every once in a while.
Good grief.
He's weighed the ethics of what he's doing. At one point, the guilt got to be so much that he confessed his misdeeds to his mom. Now, his mom was initially pissed, but then Lee explained his reasoning. Amazon's market power, Bezos' wealth, and what the billionaire has done at the Washington Post. And his mom came around. Oh, okay, yeah, then he deserves it, I guess.
Oh, God.
Is this unbelievable?
You can see how he got there. Look who raised him.
Yeah, right? If a billionaire can steal from me, I can scrape a little off the top, too, he says. Now, how's the billionaire stealing from you? How is that happening? Lee is a pseudonym, of course, because he doesn't want to be arrested. The same goes for all of the shoplifters and ethically and legally compromised individuals quoted in this story. There's many of them. Over the past several months, this reporter spoke with nearly a dozen of these people. Some he found through their own confessions online. Others reached out when they heard through social media that this reporter was working on the story. Practically speaking, the reporter says, it's a good moment to be a billionaire in America. You probably got more tax cuts on the way. I doubt that. And the president is nice to you as long as you're nice to him. Maybe your stocks are down, but you're still a billionaire, so it's fine. In terms of public perception, however, the super rich have seen better days. Americans are vandalizing Teslas to get back at Elon Musk. Mark Zuckerberg's Zuckermoon, I guess that's Zucker's honeymoon, is over. As for Jeff Bezos, some people are stealing from him, or rather his companies, in an effort to exact revenge. Like Lee, they're enacting some moral payback. One fancy cheese from Whole Foods or fudged Amazon return at a time. They're sticking it to the man, who in this case is one specific individual. So this is how leftists are justifying all of their misdeeds. All of the attacks on Teslas and the dealerships and stealing from Amazon. I mean, Bezos isn't even connected to the Doge stuff, but he's rich, so it's okay. But they don't steal from Safeway. I guess the owner of Safeway isn't rich. I don't know how that works. I mean, really? It's so bizarre. It is so hypocritical and so mentally freakish that it's really just hard to get your head around. But again, we've said for years that one day they're going to drag the rich out of their offices and beat or kill them in the streets. I mean, we are on that path right now. If we don't get a grip on our society, This is going to spiral completely out of control. All right. Let me tell you about Smart Credit. With interest rates expected to drop, you could save a ton on everything you finance, which is great news, right? But here's the thing. To cash in on the savings, you need a higher credit score. How, you ask? With Smart Credit. On average, Smart Credit users raise their credit score up to 34 points in just 30 days. Imagine it. A lower car payment, better mortgage rate, and major savings. Smart Credit's patented technology scans your credit profile. Then it pinpoints exactly which bills to pay and when to maximize your score. It's like having the best credit knowledge in your pocket. So don't wait. Take control of your credit score right now with Smart Credit and be ready to cash in when interest rates fall. Start with your 7-day trial at smartcredit.com/Pat, and for just $1, you can see how many points you can add to your credit score. That's smartcredit.com/Pat. Average point changes are based on historical data. Individual results may vary and are not guaranteed. smartcredit.com/Pat.
Pat Gray Unleashed now continues.
Here's another truism. Democrats think we're stupid.
Yeah.
Like Delaware Senator Chris Coons, who doesn't think we know where Greenland is.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
Look, your average Trump voter laughs at us and says he's owning the libs. And your average middle American says, why are you wasting your time worrying about Greenland? I can't even find it on a map.
Are we?
Speak for yourself, Chris. I'm sure you can't find Greenland on a map.
Elitist douches, man.
Look for the really, really big island.
That is green, right?
Yes, and it's green.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It's a land. You look for a land that's green, and that's it right there. Bang! You found it. It's amazing how stupid they think we are. That's incredible. Another member of Congress, Jasmine Crockett, she made it clear yesterday that she's single, which, wow, what a shocker that is.
This is what I say. I say you got hoodwinked, and that's okay. That's okay. Because as I was just telling somebody just a minute ago, I have dated in my life. I know they've been talking about whether or not I'm married and all this other stuff. I'm not married, never married, okay? Just want to get that out there. But I have dated. And I will say, any of us that have ever dated, we've been hoodwinked a time or two. Where we just sat there and we thought that he was going to be so great for us because he sold us on all the things, or her, okay? And then we realized they ain't. That's where we are. And that's okay. What matters is that you wake up and you say, this is not the one for me.
Okay. She tries so hard.
I wish voters in Dallas would realize she's not the one for them and boot her out of office. My gosh, her act is really old. It was old the first day, but I can't stand to listen to it anymore. And it is an act. The way she speaks, all of this nonsense that she's doing. She comes from wealth, so the ghetto act is really ridiculous.
How did she end up here if she's from St. Louis? Like, what
I don't
brought
know.
her here?
I don't know.
Because, boy, I'm so glad that happened.
Yeah, isn't that great? To call her one of our own. In Florida, there are two special elections today. One's for Matt Gaetz' seat, and the other is for the seat of the National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz. These are very important races. Currently, the balance of power in the House is 218 to 213, so we only have a 5-person spread there.
Yeah.
And there's a really big Supreme Court election today in Wisconsin that could end up redrawing the congressional map in that state.
Oh, no.
That's what they want to do there. The liberal Democrat running is Susan Crawford. And the other night during a debate, she had this to say.
To both of you, quick on these ads we're seeing. You referenced one. In 2020, you did sentence a child sex offender to 4 years in prison after prosecutors requested 10. Do you regret that sentence?
Yes. I don't regret that sentence because I followed the law in that case, as I always do. I applied the law, which says that Judges have to consider every relevant factor in sentencing. You have to consider both the aggravating and mitigating factors. And the Supreme Court has said you have to order the minimum amount of prison time you believe is necessary to protect the public. That's what I did in that case and every other case. And my goal is always to keep the community safe. And those have been sentences that have been successful. They have kept the community safe, unlike the short jail sentences that Brad Schimmel has entered over and over, where people have gone on to commit new crimes. That's when you know the sentence has failed.
Okay. She just admitted to giving the minimum sentence. Okay.
So 4 less than 10, is that what you're saying?
4 is less than 10.
Okay, got it.
And then she goes on in literally the same breath to say that her opponent gives 2 lighter sentences. You gave the lightest possible under the law.
But she followed the law, Keith.
But she followed the law.
When did that start? That 4 is less than 10?
It's
when
new
did that start? Yeah, is it?
It's that common core math.
All
No one
right.
understands it.
New math.
She obviously doesn't understand it. That just, wow.
And she said it with a straight face.
Yeah.
She did not skip a beat.
Yeah. And she said it like it was the most reasonable, logical thing in the world. Wait, you just proved your own point. You just contradicted yourself. Unbelievable. Yeah. That's really something.
So, Wisconsin, vote wisely today.
Yes, please.
Schimmel,
oh, my
need your
gosh.
vote. And just on the math you talked about, it's 218 to 213. Let's just say those 2 seats in Florida, which are closer than they should be right now. And Democrats have been pumping money into all of these places, Wisconsin and Florida.
Republicans would have a 1-person lead, right? 216, 215.
Well, right now it's 218, 213.
Yeah, right. I'm saying if they lose both those.
Right, then it'd be 218, 215. Right. And,
yes.
And then you have 2 empty seats that were vacated by Democrats with the death of Sylvester Turner and Raul Grijalva. So it could be 218 to 217 Republicans, which is why Elise Stefanik is no longer going to be at the UN for Trump, because that's a risky seat, and you don't want to lose that. So it looks like, at least for now, the Republicans would have at least a 1 margin lead. I don't know who's going to go to the UN now, but
I don't care right now.
Right, at least Stefanik will be staying in Congress.
Pull us out of the UN too. I mean, he's done some other great moves like that, pulling us out of the Paris Accords and all of that, and the World Health Organization. Pull us out of the UN.
Do it.
And send them.
Then you don't need
packing.
Yeah, then you don't need a UN ambassador.
Right.
Because we're not in it.
We're not part of it. Beat it. Go to Belgium like every other international organization. All right, 888-900-3393. What in the world is going on with Kanye West? What is his deal?
Oh, no.
I really think he's mentally ill now, right?
Well, he is mentally ill.
He's mentally ill. It's really...
He just forgets to take his medicine.
Has there ever been a more obvious self-destruct in the public eye as Kanye West? He has self-destructed better and faster, I think, than anybody else I've ever seen.
Kim
of his own
Kardashian,
doing.
She warned everybody. She told everybody, well, as soon as he gets off the medicine, this is what happened.
Oh, wow.
She has said that over and over and over again.
How have I missed what Kim Kardashian has said?
You don't watch
Dang
Kardashians.
Dang it.
Who was he with yesterday? What is this
no
clip?
idea.
This is the weirdest looking clip, man.
Well, he broke up with that other woman,
the Super Bowl had to come to
Look at
people
this.
who run the
What
music
is
industry and be
this?
like, you guys.
He's in a black hood, if you're listening.
You're letting.
He's in a black KKK outfit.
Oh my God, that Kanye. Would somebody take a knee for it? Where's he out of there? See, that's the problem. You let them last too long. In our league, they're for 2 years, 3 years. They're out of there. We deal with I got Tom Brady. He's great. We made Mahomes throw that Super Bowl, so Tom could get his 7th ring.
Wait, what?
But you guys at the music industry,
this guy's
you got to do start getting smaller artists.
Please don't kill me.
And put them on. We're going to set you up. We're going to take Rolling Loud. We're going to connect them with Live Nation.
Wait,
and then we're going to get a bunch of small artists, and then you'll be able to make your money off of that. And then if we take Cardi's doing good, we'll make them take the blue pill. We'll have them rap about scams, and then mention Northwest. We love Northwest. Kanye.
What is he
don't
doing?
Worry about him. He's a lunatic.
Well,
Don't
yeah.
worry about him.
Right.
Does any of that sound right or sound accurate to you? Then look at the work that I put into Cardi.
Weird.
Then look at me sitting and telling North, like,
North? Yeah.
You gotta. We not going on this Cardi album. I know it's the number one artist. Your friends are like, yo, you're gonna be in this Cardi. I know it's very exciting. Like for a kid like that has everything to be on a Cardi song is that. And North is like, yo, you got a problem with Cardi? I got a problem with Cardi.
So you stand 10 toes behind you.
Yeah.
Should.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what all these raps need to understand. Don't get this Disney and this Hulu up. I'm her daddy.
Wait, what?
Okay.
And I deal with pain and I administer pain also.
Wish we had time for the rest of this, but we don't.
Oh,
but
shoot.
Wow. What are you even talking about?
But you said there's no F in North?
No, there's no F in the word North. But for some reason, he put one there. North is the name of his daughter, right?
Yes.
Or is it North?
North.
Okay. Interesting. Sad, really. All right, we've got overtime coming up. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.